Hello everyone and welcome to game 1 in a series between Happy and Turek here on Shakura's Plateau. Um, just being honest with you guys, this is the second time I'm casting this particular game. There were some audio issues with the game the first time, unable to hear my voice, and I am casting it now a second time. So hopefully there are no audio issues. I am going to be making predictions still, but then again, I already know the outcome of this game at least as the games do get underway. Turek spawning on the bottom right hand side of the map as the purple Terran player. Meanwhile, on the top left hand side of the map, we have Happy spawning as the red Terran. Terran versus Terran here on Shakura's Plateau. A Terran mirror match, and perhaps one of those matchups that I don't get to study all that often, so I really don't know what to expect. Now, Happy has known to go for very, very heavy mech play, but recently he's been really showing a lot more bio play, and we'll see if that continues to hold true. Turek, on the other hand, this is the first time I've ever cast a game for, I believe it's Turek, and we'll see whether or not, or it could be ITuruk, couldn't it? If it's VPBenQ, and then that it could be ITuruk. So my apologies. I'll just try to call him Purple from now on to not offend him. So Purple versus Red here on Shakura's Plateau. And by the looks of it, none of these players are going to be going for an early refinery. So we could have a gasless expand. Gasless expansions have become a lot more popular as of late, as gasless expands give you a strong economic lead in the beginning as long as you're able to fend off against any early harassment that a Terran player may try to do. Terran players generally favor cloaked banshees or perhaps even a marine hellion drop with medevacs. Both of those are very viable options. We'll see if that's definitely going to be the case as we see more and more SCVs just mining away and a barracks now being established. So barracks is now currently training up some marines. Back over here we see an SCV was able to slip inside the base of Happy, or sorry, inside the base of Turek, as Happy gets a good quick look, spots that there is no Vespene geyser down, and unfortunately we can see that Turek did not scout in the proper direction, and because of that he's really not going to know what his opponent is doing. A marine now making his way down, going to shoo away that SCV, and I don't believe he saw the command center or the SCV come down that ramp. And with that, Turek is playing a little bit in the dark. Turek, will see how he responds and reacts. He is backing away with this SCV and now retreating all the way home, and we'll see how the game does unfold. A lot of Terran players now would throw down 2 additional barracks and then follow it up with double refinery. Instead, both of these players are going for a double refinery right off the bat. You can see double refinery by Turek, a double refinery by Happy. So we should see a very, very strong a very, very strong tech play coming in from both of these players. Cloaked Banshees would not be out of the option. We could have a Blue Flame Hellion drop, perhaps with some medevacs and marines as well to add some longevity to your drop and just deal a lot more damage. So far, all I see is 1 barracks up from Happy, 1 barracks up from Turek. No one yet has enough gas for a factory as this game does roll on. Turek going to be the first one with a command center, now upgrading to an orbital command. We see that Happy is not too far behind, already upgrading. Is he upgrading to an orbital command? No, not yet. Now finally upgrading to an orbital command as we are going into a factory here with a reactor being added by the barracks. So with a reactor on the barracks will just be able to dump out a lot of marines unless it does a swap with the factory. If it does do a swap with the factory, we could have some Hellions, and the Hellions are a very, very good sign for pressure. One of the reasons why Hellions work out so well is that they are a gasless unit that does have splash damage. Even though it only hits light units, it does become rather effective. Now, with that gasless opening, you could perhaps see Turek try to go into a starport with cloaked banshees. You can see a starport already coming in from Happy, and meanwhile Turek doing the same thing. You can see a tech lab coming in from Happy, so Happy may be trying to go for cloaked banshees as well. And back over here we see a tech lab being added on by Turek from the barracks, so we are going to continue to have Hellion production, but just simply adding on a tech lab here, so for perhaps some Banshee harassment. Now, Banshee harassment on a 2-base Terran is effective only if you have 2 bases as well. I often seen a lot of players ask me like, hey, why did my Banshee harassment fail? I attacked with the Banshee, I got like 9 kills with that Banshee, and I still ended up losing the macro game. Well, a lot of what can happen comes down to the fact that at this time both of these players have 2 bases. So even if you take down 6 SCVs, if your opponent has an additional orbital command and you're only stuck on 1 base, of course he's going to maintain that economic lead because you didn't deal enough damage to really make it worth it. If you can delay your opponent and actually take down a lot more workers, that is much better. At the very least, you want to be cost effective with your Banshee. You got to remember that first Banshee, very expensive. That first Banshee is, 150 minerals, 100 gas, plus 200 gold, 200 gas, 200 minerals, 200 gas for that cloaked research. So that one Banshee has a lot of work to do in order to fully come out ahead. It needs to kill 5 SCVs in order to make it worth it just for the cost of the Banshee, and then an additional 4, I believe. Yeah, no, additional 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, additional 8. In order to really justify the cost of the cloaking. So about 15 workers is about right if you can get it in, as now the Banshee does come into play. One Banshee already, or one unit already down, now going after Marines. The Marines taking a lot of damage, no combat shield. There is a Viking, however, nearby, and the Viking now simply just waiting for the scanner sweep. The Banshee still battling up, taking down even more units. Another Marine goes down, another Marine goes down, and then is another Marine go down? Yes, more Marines are getting taken down. Another Marine gets taken down there. So I believe that was about like 9 kills total. Let's take a look at the total losses. 550 resources lost. I wasn't keeping track of the losses before that, and we'll see what Happy does in order to respond. Happy with a lot of siege tanks up, ready and prepared to handle any drops that may be coming in. 2 siege tanks at the main base more than cover a large enough area to at least protect your SCVs, as Marines are getting in position once more. We do have 1 missile turret here, as a new Banshee now comes in from Turuk, looking to perhaps get in even more damage. 1 Marine down, another Marine getting taken down, as we have a bit of a dance with that Banshee, trying to take down more and more units pretty consistently. Another SCV has gone down, more Marines getting taken down, a Viking now being added over, and it looked as though the Banshee just backed away in time to be cloaked and not allow the Vikings Lancer torpedoes to finally hit their target. Happy is behind by about 10 supply now. Front door, we have a lot of Hellions here, and Turek now sitting on about a 25 supply advantage, should be able to go in for some sort of maneuver. We are going into an armory coming in from Turek, so as long as Turek gets his weapons upgrade on his mech, he should come out ahead. Blue Flame Hellions, level 1 weapons upgrade on the siege tanks and on the Hellions as well. Even Thors would benefit from that upgrade, as we are still looking to see, yes, Turek now establishing up a 3rd base inside his own base, will lift it off and land it at the center location, perhaps upgrading it to a planetary fortress and looking to transfer over some SCVs. SCVs now going to work. The Vikings now looking for other fresh targets. Those 5 Vikings gonna get pushed back by 3 Marines. There's not that many units in this group in terms of anti-air. You can see that there are some Vikings down over here, but they cannot go up against these numbers just because of the sheer numbers. They would perhaps all be killed well before those 2 Vikings could kill off another one of these. 4 Vikings still in play. More Hellions now being added once more. And we are now running off of 4 barracks and 1 starport with a reactor. The starport with the reactor, we should have up to, 5 Vikings, 4 red. Meanwhile, we are going to be having 4 Vikings plus 2 more coming in from home, if it's going to be enough. So 6 Vikings against 5, and here's the battle. Nope, the Vikings just turning around. Perhaps they will be able to get off some easy shots, and if he's able to actually get some easy shots off, the Viking numbers will start to hurt, and then BenQ will not be able to have the necessary sight to really cover and support his siege tanks. Happy now coming in from behind with those Vikings. The Vikings look like they're going to battle each other up. No Vikings have been taken down. 1 Viking, 2 Vikings have been taken down. 3 Vikings, 4 Vikings, 5 Vikings now taken down. With the sheer number of Vikings that Happy has right now, more than enough, as some Marines quickly get destroyed. Not quite ready for siege tanks with that siege distance. Happy continuing to monitor the situation outside his opponent's base. Now sitting on level 1 weapons upgrade with Blue Flame. Should be able to take down a lot of units, but he needs to get another set of upgrades in order to, I believe, 2-shot any of those SCVs. Vikings, 7 of them in play, keeping control, keeping tabs on the army, and we'll see what's going to be happening next, as we are going into a double medevac, perhaps a drop along the north or the south in order to slow down Turuk's economy. Medevacs now on the move. An additional 4th command finally in position. Medevacs deciding to, oh, nope, gonna go move out once again. More and more SCVs just continuing to mine away back home. As the game does roll on, BenQ now down by 31 supply. Will he be able to get back into this is the question. Yeah, Happy right now needs to break his contain somehow. He is not up on bases. He's not in a good situation at all. And you can now see he is trying to do something with this medevac drop. Even if he does snipe down this orbital commando, that's not going to be good enough, as his opponent already has 1 orbital command being upgraded and another command center being established. So he needs to take out workers, and he needs to perhaps also take down some production buildings, as the Marauders now quickly land from the sky, taking down a lot of workers here. You can see perhaps the Hellions and the Thors and some of the siege tanks deciding to retreat back. That's going to be perfect news for Happy. If Happy does try to break his contain, that is now no longer a full contain, just at most a skeleton contain, as the Marauders and the Marines now finishing off more units inside the base again. Viking now looking to do a bit of a push. Is that Viking gonna fall? Now unloading all of its cargo. Yes, it does fall, and bad times for Happy, as Happy once again loses a lot more resources than he really should have or needed to, as the Marauders all get cleaned up as well. Scanner sweeps, Thors. Oh, the Vikings quickly landing in ground mode, only to get destroyed. And all 3 Vikings now taken down. The Marines looking to clean up this attack and able to break the contain now with the help of some SCVs, absorbing and tanking that damage. Orbital command over here could be established. Yes, it will be established off here at what I will call the center top left location. Center bottom right belongs to Turuk. Turuk now engaging up against a lot of siege tanks, and the sheer number of Thors and the fact that they will soon be 2-0 really gives me an indicator that Turuk is gonna be able to win this matchup. Turuk now with about 30 supply advantage, also up on bases with another base that he can lift off and land at a moment's notice. And we'll see how that will affect the overall status and the pacing of the game. Happy over here trying to land a command center, unable to do so. A Marine able to push him back, as the command center cannot land on top of the Marine for some strange reason. Medevacs now making their way over, so the Medevacs now taking a little bit more damage than they should, but the Marines need to finish off this. The Marines and the Marauders need to finish off that lone Marine there. Command center has taken 100 points of damage. Let's take a look at the upgrades. Level 3 upgrades now coming in from ITuruk or Turuk. Meanwhile, Happy, I do not believe, has any upgrades on any of his siege tanks, and that is seriously gonna hurt. Thor is now battling up here. Vikings in the air, cleaning up medevac after medevac. Units are now pulling away, perhaps going to come in on the far side and destroy this orbital command. Vikings should be able to get it down from the air. since it is now a flying unit. 2 Vikings in the back of the field, really not doing anything. Needs to take down this orbital command. Orbital command now down to 600, 500, 500, 300 hit points. And now, are we going to have some SCVs come over to repair it? The Vikings not unable to land in order to take that down. And now siege tanks looking to back off once more. Siege tanks, Hellions, Thors making a move out onto the field. We'll see if it will be enough to handle the siege tanks. No Thors or Vikings of Happy. And now the siege tanks just all in position, making sure that if they do engage, that one of them has sight on the other. Another siege tank now goes down there. Happy in a bit of trouble. We'll see what's going to happen here as the Thors and the Marines now once again going to look to push inside the main base. One Infestor takes a little bit too much damage. Another siege tank takes a little bit too much damage, as you're going to see Happy just able to barely get off shots on these units here. You can also see that the Viking going to look to finish off this orbital command. Yes, the Lancer torpedoes will find their target. Down it goes. And I believe this is the beginning of the end, as we are now at 186 compared to 123. And Happy, as long as he can at least hold and control this third expansion, may still have a chance. He's been trading pretty effectively, even though Turek does have less losses. If he can somehow extend the game into the long game and then execute his strategy, he should be able to come out ahead, as we now see Vikings now barreling their way over and perhaps trying to come in and do a bit of a harassment here. I apologize. I know there was a drop back over here. Let's go back to the fight here. Marines and Marauders still battling it out. Vikings now quickly go into ground mode. Happy now looking in a very, very good position, as one siege tank looks like it might go down. The Vikings now trying to battle up against more Vikings. Another Viking over here by Happy. It is full on hit points against 2 here, and there's the GG. My apologies for not catching that drop. I know I saw a drop, or I know that there was a drop earlier, and I believe that the drop is sometime around the 20-minute mark, since this was the second time I... Alright, so... Oh wait, no. I did catch that drop. Alright. One of those things, when you cast the same game, you forget what you actually caught and what you didn't. Alright, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.